So how in the world did I mess up a wig so badly that it was so heavy I couldn't even wear it anymore? Well, buckle up, because this is a long process. So for Pop Maddness this year, I wanted to be Entrapta from She-Ra, and I wanted to make her very, very big pigtails, and I wanted it to be actually able to move. So I was like, you know what? It should be easy, it should be nice and light and super easy to wear. Nope, not at all. This is a tutorial on how you absolutely do not make a big wig. So this Entrapta wig was essentially 3 parts. There was the base wig, which had the PVC pipes on it, and then there was the 2 giant pigtails that could easily slide onto the PVC pipes. And first thing I had to do was cut and steam the base wig to make it look like Entrapta's hair. And I had to take off a pretty good chunk of hair right here, as you can see. Looking back, I really did not cut this in the right way at all, and it is dangerously close to not covering the back of my head. So I definitely should have cut it better, or researched some better ways too, because that was really not a good way of going at it. So this is what it looked like when it was done, and before I had hairsprayed it, and it was pretty good. For, I must say myself, I am new to wig shaping and making wigs. This is my first time ever trying to make a wig, so yeah, pretty good in my opinion. So the plan for this PVC pipes was to take 2 PVC pipes, and then using contact cement, I would attach them onto small pieces of foam, which would attach onto the wig. So after letting those dry and after attaching them, I painted the foam purple, and then also using contact cement, I just put it onto the wig. Now, don't come for me. I did dry this outside. It did not dry inside, so I was safe. Don't worry about it. And then I pinned back the hair so that I would have room to, actually put it on there. And then I put it on my head just to test what it would look like. And by the way, this was New Year's Eve, so I had New Year's Eve makeup on. Just ignore that. But I thought it actually looked really cute. I really like how I look with short hair. I think it's kind of funny. And so the next plan of this was just to hot glue some of the hair over the edges of the foam that you could see and that were sticking out, just to make it look nice, make it look a bit more polished. No one wants to see the foam when they're staring at a wig, because that does not look very nice. So you just put some hot glue down, and then you just glue it over the foam, easy like that. Smooth it down with your hands. Also, sometimes if you're using super hot glue, it depends on the hot glue, not necessarily the hot glue gun. It depends on what type of glue you're using. It can burn your fingers through the thing, but I am pretty immune to that, although sometimes it does burn me. So you just complete the process of just putting hot glue down and then smoothing the hair over it. And I did this tons of times on both sides to make sure that it wasn't visible at all. And I know in these things you can see me holding up the PVC pipe because it looks droopy, but when it's actually on my head, then it stands up on its own. The PVC pipes will stand up on their own when it's actually on my physical head. And so then we run into a part where I mess up here. So I thought it would be a good idea to measure it, and then using fluorofoam, I don't know why, but I thought if I used fluorofoam and then I cut a hole in the fluorofoam, I could make a little slip-on that I could build the pigtails off of. But it took so much cutting and shaping. And then I had little doggy stuff, although this took me a bajillion years. I'm not kidding you. 3 hours of my life was wasted on this. And then I painted it, and then I Mod Podged it again and again and again. And I'm telling you what, it stunk up my house. My house just stunk of Mod Podge forever and ever and ever. It was really bad. And so then I had these little dog ear looking thingies, and I was like, you know what, okay, maybe this can work, not so bad. So then I moved on to working on the netting. So the main base of the pigtails is just this really thin netting, and I just drew the shape of each pigtail onto the netting. Although it did take me several tries, this is actually not the easiest stuff to work with because it's so thin that it moves around. So it was actually kind of hard for me to get her exact hair shape, and this is also a problem where you can see me struggle. So I had to lay the wig down to see how long it was, and then I realized it did not match the color of my wig. It was not the same color at all, and I was like, oh well, that's great, but I already bought 2, so I was like, okay, well, all right. But I ended up having to buy more hair later, more wigs that I had to harvest hair from later. Seriously, it took insane amount of hair to make these pigtails, and all for nothing, but that's okay. So then I took my netting and I just simply cut out that little outline of the pigtails. I might accidentally start calling them ears. They're not ears, they're pigtails. And then I ran into my problem with the floor foam. So it still smelled really, really badly. And it was also struggling to stay onto the PVC pipes. Like, it wasn't a good idea either. Also, listen to these things. Hard as rocks. Literally, listen. Yep, so into the trash they went, and I felt no remorse because they were bad and I had to get rid of them. Oh, also, this is what my base wig looks like when it was fully done being cut, and after I somewhat put it together with hairspray, kind of. Alright, so to make the pigtails move, this is what I did. I have also used this trick on making movable owl ears, and you can too if you want to make something like this. So, you're going to take a little piece of cardboard, and you're going to stab a hole through it. Preferably, maybe like medium, and you're going to use a fishing wire. Clear fishing wire is, I think, better in my opinion than like a grain or something, because you can hide it. And take like a lot, because it's better to have too much and to cut it off than to have not enough and having to get more. Like, you're going to need a lot of fishing wire, but trust me, it'll end up looking good in the end. So, you're going to take the fishing wire and you're going to thread it through the little hole and pull it through. And when you pull it through, make sure that it is even on both sides, that both sides are the same length. And then you're just gonna tie a little hole, and I sped it up right here because honestly it took me too long, but you're gonna tie a little holes, and then you're gonna loop one end in the hole just over and over again until basically that one end is non-existent. And you need to do this like again and again. I did it so many times here. That's why it is so sped up, because seriously, it is a thick amount that you will have there on the end of the cardboard. Like, it is a lot of little pieces of string, and then you'll tie it off, and then it should be able to be ready. You should be able to pull it, and there should be like, it shouldn't pop, it shouldn't come loose, it should be nice and tight. You want it really, really nice and tight so it works well on the ears. And so how you attach them. So you're gonna have two panels, and the way I did it is I laid it where I wanted it to sit, and then I simply put the wire through the netting so that it was attached to the netting exactly where I wanted it to be. And this would be kind of the base that we would start off of. And I simply did that to both sides as well. I put it through both pieces of the little lace, what I'm talking about, netting, sorry. And then I took my little handy dandy pair of scissors, and I actually cut out foam, and instead of floor foam, I'm using foam. I was just hesitant to use it at first because it was so chunky, and I didn't film most of this, but I put foam in between the layers of the netting to plush it up, and make it like actually kind of chunky. And this is what it looks like kind of halfway. This is the wig without it, just the PVC pipe, and then we have the giant noodle of snake that is the pigtails without any hair on them. They do look kind of silly, I will admit, but like, it'll look, no, I thought it would look better in the end. I stand corrected, it did not. There's a hole right here which will slide onto the thing. Here, let me put it on so I can show you. But essentially, I just slid it on, and it's, quite big compared to the rest of the hair, and you won't be able to see all of this once I cover it with a wig in a second. I have the string here also to make it move side to side, up and down, which will look a lot more natural once I have the thing, but like, pretty neat, huh? How it just kind of moves like that and stuff. Hello, like, hi. It's a wave. Kind of funny. And so then I'll cover it with the wig, and you won't even be able to see it. I might actually cut this down a bit. It is a bit high, but we'll see. I really should have listened to past me, what I said just there about cutting down the top bit because it was too high. Because, I really should have. I really should have cut the top bit. The problem is that these were so light when there was no hair on them. And then I put all the hair on it, and it became super heavy because they were so big that they needed so much hair on them. But in any case, with the little foam tubes inside, you could easily slide them on and off the little PVC pipe. Or so I thought. I had no issue sliding them on and off when there was no weight on them. And I'm about to put the weight on it. So, How did I get the hair onto the pigtails? Well, I had to harvest wefts from an actual wig. And if you look at a wig, you will see that they have these little stitches attached to the actual lining of the wig. Most wigs are composed of rows of the hair that are just simply sewn on. And if you have a stitch remover like I did, I got it from a sewing kit, you can just simply take out the little stitches and you can go along the lines and you can take them all out, and then you can just harvest the wefts. And I did this so many times. It's a really time consuming process, but it does get you a lot of wefts. Although I will say, make sure if you're going to harvest wefts from a wig, make sure that you have not touched this wig, or you have not got it tangled before you take the wefts out, because so much of my time was wasted trying to get the wefts out that were tangled in the wig. And then I simply just kept all the wefts together with a kitchen clip, because I was like, well, there's so many of them, might as well put them together. And I did this with both of the wigs, and I had to buy an additional wig because I did not have enough hair for the 2 pigtails at first. The second pigtail is almost a completely different color because it is composed of a different wig that I had to get more hair from. So yeah, it was a lot of time was spent here just taking wefts off of the wig. Like a good chunk of making this wigs over the courses of multiple days was just me taking hair off of the wig. And you can only get so much, there's a good chunk that was actually attached to the cap itself, because this was supposed to be like a wig that looks like real hair. So it had kind of a bald cap thingy to it, so I was only able to get a little bit. But it had all kinds of different lengths to it. Like there was these little short pieces and long pieces. And then I just simply took it and I hot glued it. And I learned early on, if you're going to do this, put the longest pieces down first, because you can cover them with pieces at the end. And I will show this a bit later, but you need to put the longer pieces down first and then put the tiny little pieces at the top when you're done. Also, this hot glue that I'm using, it is super strong, super hot, so it can burn you super easily, but it is really strong and it'll get the job done. And see, look, what I'm doing here is I lay them down one by one, but I go at the bottom. I start at the bottom with the long pieces, and then I work my way up, because the hair will cover up those little weft bits that you see there. And you just need to make sure that you go from bottom to top. Never go from top to bottom, because you will never get everything covered and you will see all the different kinds of wefts. And I just kind of did this by simply hot gluing the top and then slowly hot gluing all the way down. And some of the pieces I didn't hot glue completely, so that way I could shift them, but a good chunk I did on top of the wig and the foam and stuff, which made it so heavy because I needed so much hair to cover all the pieces of foam, because it was really just a lot of wig and area to cover. And when I make this wig again, I'm going to make sure that it is long, but it is skinny, and it's really skinny. That's the most important part, is that it just needs to be smaller and not so big and thick, because that was my main issue. So Pop Maddness Day comes around, and I'm just going to tell you the story as I'm finishing that wig currently in the video. It is done, and it was extremely heavy, and it kept slipping off of the PVC pipes. So I did what any person would have done, and I threw them away. Thank you for your service, big unfortunate pigtails, but unfortunately you have served your time. So goodbye.